Record. All right. Another month has passed, and again, as always, I want to do these calls every single month. Probably in the next few months, we'll start to work on some more like training, and I'll bring some other people on that specialize in different types of marketing or different areas of real estate investing, so we can not only discuss the system, but also can learn from others in the industry. As you know, I've been working heavily on version 2.0 for the expected launch sometime in September. So that we are progressing really well, and now I'm starting to see like screens and how everything's going to look and putting everything together. So I know you guys don't know much about like what exactly is going to be in this thing, but I'll tell you right now, the system that you're working in probably has about 15% of what this new system is going to have. So it's just going to be a huge expansion on what we're already doing, just to make sure that you have a full blown out system from start to finish. And Mark, you were asking about like the email before. The reason I was asking about the email is because we're gonna have direct mail, ringless voicemail, and email marketing available within the system. So on the email side, we're trying to compare whether or not we should integrate like a send grid, like where you can blast out a ton of emails out, or if we should integrate into people's Gmail. Now they have to have a Gmail account. They can't have like an Outlook account. However, the integration will be much more seamless with Gmail. So with SendGrid, you can blast marketing out to people with email, but if they reply, you're not going to get that in the system, right? You'll see it in your email, but it won't come through the system. So you won't be able to have that connection of going back and forth. If we connect with Gmail, which it seems like most people are on Gmail, you can see and email right from within the the record, the property record, and you can email back and forth, and you can see exactly all the communications back and forth. So it's nice and easy, and you'll also have it in your Gmail. So wherever you want to go, if you want to do it on Gmail, or if you want to do everything in the system, you have that flexibility. I prefer to go the Gmail route because I think it gives everyone the most amount of flexibility. Those people that don't have Gmail, I'm sure hopefully they'll be able to jump on Gmail to get the full benefits. But I think it's just going to provide a much better service and what people want with being able to see the back and forth in the system and in their Gmail. I think it's going to be much better. Not only that, but just from a strategic standpoint, if we use SendGrid, we have to rely on everybody emailing appropriately, and if people get marked as spam, our whole SendGrid gets marked as spam, and then we have to play like cat and mouse, where we have to make sure that people aren't doing the right thing, and we're going to probably have to make big restrictions on what people can do and can't do. And if they're sending it right from their Gmail, we don't have any restrictions, because if they do something that they spamming, they're going to get flagged on their Gmail account. So we can be a little bit more open on that.
So I heard you mention direct mail, ringless voicemail, email. Are you going to have SMS messaging on that as well?
We will not have SMS because of all of the compliance regulations around that. There is a lot of compliance stuff that's happening right now, and even not only the compliance, but also what the carriers are doing. So the carriers are requiring a lot of different things that you have to register with them, and you have to go through a lot of hoops with that. So, and with that, I don't even know how long and how well text messaging is going to be once the carriers start to implement all these new regulations. So I don't want to create and spend a lot of effort and time behind it if it's going to go away in the future. So what we're going to do is, if it's not included in version 1.0, we're going to be soon thereafter 2.0, we're going to have Zapier integration. So like our marketing platform right now in InvestorHub is getting like complete ground up change. Everything's going to be changed, and it's going to be much more flexible, that everybody's been asking for, looking for, providing suggestions and recommendations. And we're going to have the ability to have like Zapier included. So as you go through, like you send out a direct mail piece, you do ringless voicemail within the system. And then if the next one is text message, you can have a Zapier integration so it automatically sends out to like, you know, Lead Sherpa or something like that. So the records get sent out. So it is still automated, but it's just not done within the system.
Gotcha.
So, and then on top of that, so the new system is no longer InvestorHub. So even though it's version 2.0, we're completely rebranding it. It's going to be its own separate thing from Open Letter Marketing. And we're having a new website. It's going to be its own complete entity. So the new name I can now mention because we're final with it and branding is done. So the name of it is called Invelo. Okay, so the new name is called Invelo. Again, we focused on a very sleek design, very easy, and there's no other platform like this for a CRM. Most CRMs out there right now for investors only deal with like prospect management, like your, you know, REI Sift or your batch leads and stuff like that, or they have like dealing with leads. So like where they're kind of more like a CRM. So they don't really deal with like prospect management, like stacking and all that, like REI Blackbook or you know, some of the other CRMs that you guys know about. They only deal with leads. So the issue with that, like they work fine, but when you have a separation between or prospect management and lead management, you lose a lot of data. You don't know what you're spending on marketing. You don't know how you're pulling your lists if you're working on a lead. Even when you're looking at leads, you're like, what list did this come from? You have to look in a different system. So there's a huge issue with that for us investors, because at the end of the day, we want to know how we pulled the lists at the beginning, so we can, if we're doing a lot of deals with those lists or the same characteristics of the people, we want to pull more properties like that. So what we're doing with Invelo is we're doing front to back. We're having a list builder. You can actually, we just settled on a data agreement with one of the top data companies. So the best data company that we have, and everything is going to be the best with the system. I'm not sparing any expense because I want it to be the absolute best for everyone. So you're going to be able to build lists in there like you would on like ListSource. So you'll have all of that functionality. You're going to have prospect management, so you can still stack leads. It's going to work a little bit differently. It's going to be easier and more functional for everyone. So we're not going to have like your super lead, like if it's on more than one list, it pushes it over to a super lead. That kind of interaction is going to be changed up a little bit to be more fluid in how people want it to work. So once you have your prospects, now you can create your marketing. So with the marketing, you can market to prospects in the same way that we're doing now, but again, it's going to be much more versatile on how you can do that. You can create batches. So you can say, all right, I get 10,000 prospects, 10,000 high quality prospects, but I want to mail them 2,000 at a time. You can do that in one marketing campaign and pay for all 10,000 at one time. So you get those price breaks. Right now you don't, and that's a sticking point for people. So you can market out. We track all the costs. We can provide KPIs on how much you're spending to get a lead, to get an appointment, to get like deals, because the next step is we have lead management. So where you can now, when somebody calls back, they're not a prospect anymore. You convert them to a lead, and then you can keep all your lead information. So like, what's the condition of the property, and you can go through all that, and you can move them through the lead conversion of like talking to them, appointments, under contract, and then deal closed. I'll go into the next step. But within those leads, you can market to those as well. So you can do direct mail. So we want to do like the the auto pen direct mail. So you can do like one-offs to those leads. You can do ringless voicemail one-offs. You can do email to them one-offs. So you can have that type of marketing. Then we're going to have a deal section. So when you close a deal, they will go into another kind of pipeline. So deal, because as investors, well, most companies, when they get a deal, that's it, it's done. But as investors, we have a deal, but now we have, that's the front end of the whole process. We still have to sell the deal. So now you have like kind of a deals pipeline, which not many people really focus on. So now you can capture, all right, deal closed. All right, all the construction, what am I doing in here? Now we have to find a seller. Version 1.0 is not going to have like a buyer's component to it yet, but we're adding that in soon after so that you can actually market that deal to buyers through email, through ringless voicemail if you want. And then you can close the deal on the back end. So because we're doing that fully, like beginning to end, not only is that amazing, but now we can figure out, we can tell you like, how long does it take you to go from prospect to lead? How long does it take you to go from lead to appointment, and appointment to closing a deal? How much money does it cost you to get a lead? How much money does it cost you to close a deal? So we can provide all those KPIs like very easy because we're tracking everything. And also we can show you like, you know, where are all your leads coming from? Like what list, what area, what geography, all of that we can be showing you. And then depending, we haven't talked about this yet, rolling it out right out of the gate. But eventually what I'm looking to do is saying, okay, well, here are your KPIs. And some people might be like, that's great, but is that good? Is that not good? Like, how does that compare? We want to have like a leaderboard of like the top 20 people or 10 people ranked and say, all right, well, here are your KPIs. Here are the top 10 people's KPIs on average. So now you can see, all right, am I in line with what they're doing? Am I like does it take me too long to convert? Is it costing too much to convert a lead? And now we can provide like, you know, if you're too high on this, here are some things that you can do. So we can provide like actionable items to, you know, be more efficient in your business. So those are the things that kind of I wanted to share with you on Invelo, not really version 2.0 anymore. It's going to be its own entity that we're like so excited about kind of rolling this out. And again, we want to make this as easy as possible so people can jump on and really understand it and just have a super solid system, unlike what other people are seeing. I haven't shared other things that we're going to be implementing. I would say we already have stuff from launch in September. I pretty much already have the next 3 or 4 quarters already identified what I want to roll out. And some of those things, like CRMs in general, haven't seen what we're going to be rolling out to provide, you know, a good community and provide better reporting KPIs and actionable items for everyone. So that is, that's my update for you guys for right now. Any questions on that? No? All right. Okay, cool. So let's go on. So do we have some questions? I know I had some questions that I got an email from Josh. Let me see. Does anybody have any specific questions that they want to ask before I jump into those? No?
I got one question, Justin, on when I set up, I do a mail and I send them out in batches. Do I need to, does it matter? Do I need to set that up in the marketing calendar before I do the order? Or if I place the order, can I then go back and then put it on the marketing calendar? The reason why I'm asking, kind of going back to our our other group, and I'm sure we'll get into this, like I want to be able to share, like if I have a batch go out and then I want to follow up in a week with a ringless voicemail, does that, do I have to have it set up correctly before placing the order, or can I go backwards after I place the order to set up the marketing campaign?
You can do it either way. The intent is to set up the calendar first so that all your leads are together in the correct batch.
Okay.
Because to go back and consistently identify the prospects that you were in that batch is going to be more difficult if you just do it through the leads page.
Okay.
So that's why it's intended to like batch those people into the right campaigns and then execute the campaigns afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, I think I did it backwards, and Corey helped me put it on the calendar, but I don't think I'm going to be doing ringless voicemail. I don't think it matters on this last piece, but just going forward, I was like, maybe I should have done that first. So I just wanted to clear that up.
Yep. Okay. Cool. All right, we get some other questions. I think, Anthony, we got some questions I think you put into Josh, so let me answer these ones so you don't have to type them again, but if you have additional ones after this, feel free to let me know. So let's, he asked me, is there a way to manage marketing campaigns with multiple property owners who own different properties that are in different batches so we are not mailing them multiple mailers? So yeah, the way to deal with that is the system will identify when there are multiple properties with the same mailing address, and it'll tag those people as multi-property owner. So what you could do is you could do a filter to show you all multiple property owners, and and just make sure that only one of them is attached to a batch. Okay, so what I would do is I would do that filter and then look at the list. And if it's like, 123 Main Street as a mailing address, I would only allow one of those to be in a batch. And all the other ones, I would remove them from batches. Does that make sense?
It does. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So a lot of times they have different mailing addresses depending on how I skip them. Sometimes it'll be the property address. Sometimes it'll be another address in another area. So sometimes I'm not sure how to filter that out.
So how do you know that?
I don't know until I.
So again, you won't know till what?
They and select all leads out and then kind of duplicate name, and I kind of see that way. A lot of times call me and say,
You're breaking up. You're breaking up a bit. I can't really hear you all that much, but I think what you said is like, you'll know when they own multiple properties because they'll call you back and then you'll look up their name or something, or they'll tell you they have multiple properties. If there's so if that is the case, that's the only time that you can really identify that they're a multiple property owner. If they have different mailing addresses, there's no identifier to let you know that they own multiple properties unless they call you back. So in that case, what I would do is I would just search for the properties that they identified, and I would only keep one of those properties in a batch and remove the other ones from a batch, from batches. So they're not attached to like a marketing campaign. That's the only way that I would be able to identify that, because otherwise you wouldn't ever know if they don't have the same mailing address that they own multiple properties. Okay, let me see what else you said. So these same owners will sometimes call back and discuss selling another property, right? Is there a way to manage the working lead or the lead and the seller lead app when this happens? So yeah, I mean, if they call back and you like sent them a letter for like 123 Main Street and they called back off of and said, I'm interested in selling like 58 Main Street, as long as 58 Main Street is in InvestorHub and you log 58 Main Street in deal flow, then it should still go back to InvestorHub and push that to remove property. right, the removed list. So it should still do that fine. If they want to sell both, you'd have to create two different leads in deal flow for it to work properly. Yeah, so you would have to create two different leads because again, they're separate properties. Now, in the notes, if you have like a package deal, you could say refer to, like, on both properties, you could say they're looking to sell this property and put a link of that other property in the notes. That's usually a good idea, but you want to keep those separate because you want to keep the property detail information in its own kind of in its own lead. All right, and then let me see what else. You had another one here. Is there a way to order a fulfillment of sold home data in an InvestorHub for working leads that are active in deal flow so it updates both systems? So I think what you're saying, can you update sold homes in InvestorHub and actually send the information over to deal flow? No, you can't. In Velo, sold home data will be free. So it will automatically do that because now that we have the list builder within the system itself, you can do you can import your own list or like create a new lead. And once you create a new lead, we're going to go back to our database and say, oh, 123 Main Street, here's all the information on it. Here's bathrooms, bedrooms, when it was sold. Like, it's going to have everything on it. So you'll get that information whether or not you have it, just because we'll have that in the back end of our system. So sold home data will be identified in there, and we're going to work and create automations. So you can say, all right, I want to create an automation that anybody that sold a house within the last 6 months, automatically remove them to removed record. So you don't have to do anything. You can just create that automation. And if somebody sells a house, they'll automatically be pushed to the removed records section.
Hey, Justin, with that said, in the automation, and something I kind of watch, but when we get the vacant property updates, which is great, do you think you'll ever be in a position with the automation, like if we got a vacant property update, that the system could automatically then send them a handwritten letter, and then it's just kind of like on autopilot?
Yeah, so our marketing, that's where the marketing is like, there's no other system like that we're gonna have. So the way that the marketing is gonna work is you can set up, you can go into marketing campaigns and you can create everything. It's gonna say, all right, what type of campaign do you want to create? And then you can say, all right, here are the filters, or these are the specific properties that I want to create for this marketing campaign. So you could literally just say, all right, I'm going to filter by anything high quality, dump them into this campaign. And then we're going to have a little button that says, do you want to automatically add properties to this marketing campaign anytime it hits this criteria? And if you select yes, then anytime that it meets that criteria that you specified in the campaign, it's automatically going to run them through the campaign. So you'll never have to deal with, crap, I just uploaded 20 more driving for dollars. Where do I put, what campaign do I put them in? They'll automatically get looped into that campaign. Okay. And because we have restrictions on, like, you can only send out, you have to have minimums for like direct mail.
Right, 200 pieces.
Yeah, so 200 pieces. Or, so we have those minimums, but also some people are like, well, I don't want to send out 200 because my price is going to be much higher than if I just waited to send out 1,000 pieces at a time. So you'll have the ability to say how many you want to go in queue before they drop into the marketing campaign, so they start fulfilling. Okay, so what happens is as you start uploading and they match, the records meet the criteria that you have for the campaign, you'll see that they'll be in queue and they won't be executed. The marketing won't be executed yet. But once you hit the threshold of either the minimum of like 200 for direct mail, or if you specify, then they'll automatically get dropped in and they'll start the sequence.
Okay.
Okay. I think that's everything that all the questions that I have. Anything else that I'm missing? Does anybody have any other questions? Anything at all? The other thing that we're going to do too is we're going to add in like pre-canned marketing sequences, and I'll have it for like the high quality, medium quality, and low quality. That's working right now for my investment company and other investment companies that I kind of work with. So you'll be able to just be like, all right, let me just use kind of your pre-canned one and just let it run. So I know a lot of people have that question. They're like, well, how do I set it up? How much delay do I do in between the marketing activities? You can just run right with the pre-canned marketing sequence that we already have ready.
So you basically have templates that we can work with. Yep. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So we're going to try to do that a lot to have templates just so people can work off what we know works really well. Because again, I don't want people to have to reinvent what we already know is working well. And this platform is just a way to get people to do that very easy. Let me just see. Oh, were you able to crack the code with Ryan from Roar about getting their suppressed list? I talked to him. There's no way. The only thing that they can do is phone numbers is to export. So not right now, but we will be able to figure that out in when we launch Invelo, is to work with them. And that's going to be a really big thing. We want to make the integration like extremely, extremely seamless. Because if we can't do it in our system, I don't want there to be any friction points when you do it from another system. So we will be working on that for Invelo. Okay. Anything else? Anything that you guys want me to go through or talk about while you have me, or any other questions? No. Okay. Again, next month, I'm probably going to mention this in our Facebook group, but next month I'll probably have screens for you guys to see kind of what the new system's going to look like. And we can chat a little bit more on the details of that. But I'm telling you, this is going to be much. It's just, the system is so cool. It's really, really exciting to share what we have going on. Let's see. I have plenty of questions. I just won't want to type them. If we can hear you, feel free to unmute yourself and try to talk. Brian, the new system comes out in September. All right, if you want to type a couple more questions in the chat box, feel free to do so. But again, next month I'll be really get to show you guys exactly what we've been working on. And hopefully at that point we should have the marketing campaign set up, because I think that's the biggest struggle for people, is how to manage marketing and be able to track everything. And I want to show you guys how we can do that all within the system. Steep learning curve with the new system. No, that's one of the biggest things that we're focused on, is making it very simple and easy and understandable. My goal is, if you have to ask a question, like, it's not simple enough. So we're trying to make everything so it's like seamless. But I think that's it. If anybody has any more questions, you guys know how to get in touch with me. Just shoot me an email or find me on Facebook. Shoot me a Voxer. But I'm happy to chat. If you have more specific questions that you want to talk on length about, just shoot me an email and we can set up a time.
Well, thank you, Justin.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Have a good day.